My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Good morning. So, we all are aware of the insecurity in Plateau State. And so the killings in Plateau State has become a huge concern for many. If you have been following the news, then in fact, just this morning we heard that the military is putting together an offensive. But most recently, not just Plateau State, Benue State as well. But in Plateau State, when you look at the situation, they say about 51 people, most recently in Bassa local government, 2 communities there where this happened. And it has raised plenty of concerns, what has happened in Bassa local government area. There's also another 52 people that were reportedly killed in Bokos local government area, all in Plateau State. And, of course, everyone says this act was carried out by herdsmen. In Benue State, it's a similar situation. As well. Now, this conversation has been on for quite a while, and in Plateau State, this particular issue is one that is always raised its ugly head from time to time, leading to loss of lives. The government says it is doing its best. We're listening to the governor of Plateau State just the other day talking about how it's a sad one, and they are doing the best that they can to address this situation. Today, I will be speaking with a former REPS member. And he is, at the moment, the special advisor on strategic media, communications to the governor of Plateau State, Dr. Golu Timothy Simon. Sir, thank you for joining us and good morning to you.
Good morning, Info Radio. Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
All right. We wouldn't want to take too much time. First off, we would like to say our heart goes out to the government of Plateau State over the killings and the sad incident that were recorded in the past couple of days. We hope and pray, especially in this Easter season, that you come out of it as quickly as possible.
Amen. Thank you for the condolence, brother.
And now, can you give us an insight? How bad is this situation? Because for some people looking from this part of the country, they don't really have a full grasp of what the situation is like. Some people even would suggest that, the numbers are inflated. For some other people, the death toll is underreported. What really is the situation and how bad is the situation?
Yes, my brother, the situation is so bad as you can imagine. It is better imagined than described, especially for those who are not there. You see lifeless bodies of children, lifeless bodies of women, the aged, men, even pregnant women are being butchered like animals by supposed human beings in different forms. The situation is that bad. From Bokos local government, where the first, took place a few weeks ago, and then to Bassa. Only God knows what is being planned now. It is a hard situation. It is not a normal situation. Just like you see on social media handles, that is it. People being buried in large numbers, one grave accommodating a number of people. This is humanly, unthinkable. The situation is that bad. But we thank God that we have, as Plateau people, we are not broken. We know the extent to which these people have planned to go. But God, in His own mercy, has not allowed them to get to that level. And they are planning. Remember the December 23rd incident that took place in Bokos? Remember other previous incidents? They were larger in number than this one. But even if it is one human soul that is lost, it's very painful. This time around, it's like they want to go back to base. They want to return to status quo and begin to give us the kind of attacks that we were almost, recovering from and almost forgetting. The way the governor painted it, that is the true situation. Some people from outside the state are just after the soul and the spirit of Plateau. celebrate us, people appreciate us. But unknown to us, some people are envious and would want to come and take over. Is it possible? It's not possible. Everybody has his own natural habitation. Everybody has his own natural endowment, what God has given to everybody. It is God that locates people. We didn't locate ourselves on the plateau, but we thank God that we are located there, and with all the good weather, the good food, the good environment, even the good grasses, that sometimes are the attraction of these people. That we believe that if you are going somewhere, or if you want to go and settle somewhere, you can go there. Nobody is against anybody going to settle somewhere. But you see our own. It's like our friendship is beginning to create an impression. It's beginning to create an impression of weakness, or that we really don't know the value of what we have on the plateau. And some people who want to come and take it by force. So that is why some of these people are coming to give us the attack. Look at it from 1999, to date, with the return to democratic rule in 1999. First government was attacked in similar way. The second government attacked, and then this present one. So no government has been scared of this type of attacks, and they are taking the same pattern and with the same intention to take over our land. That's why you see some people in the hinterland of our local government, especially Bokos, Mangu, Rio, Barikinladi, Basa, this local government, and some few places in other local governments nearby are being attacked all the time.
Are there anything particular to these local governments? I mean, you made a suggestion, and which is something that we've heard in the spaces of rumors. People say, it's ethnic cleansing. I remember in Benue State, the former governor, Autumn, pointed at ethnic cleansing, said, people are trying to invade, to take over the land because of the fertility of the area. What is particular about the local government, especially Bassa? I know Bassa has repeatedly experienced this sort of attack at very horrific levels. What particularly can you say is special about these areas that you think could be why we are facing what we're facing there now?
There are so many things good about Plateau, a lot of things. We have a lot of natural endowments. And as I mentioned to you before, we have a very good and clement weather. Our land is very, very fertile. In fact, about 70 to 80% of Plateau land are so fertile that you can plant anything, any type of crop. And then we have the potentials in tourism. And remember that mining, historically, we are one of the largest, source of mining, in this country. Remember Tin and Columbine, when it was the mainstay of the Nigeria's economy. And so it continues. As it is now, we have that in large number. And some people are there for that reason. But whatever it is, it is not only, these endowments are spread, are naturally, divinely spread across the country. I will not say that these attacks are just limited to this because some people outside are interested, in these items. No, it is beyond that. Some people will want to come and take over. If I know that Rivers State is blessed, there are many people living in Rivers State. They've gone there, they've maximized the potential there, they come back, they go there again. Some stay there for as long as they are alive. But they never come to displace the people of Rivers State because they want to take over those places. In our own case, the land is so, the desire is to displace the people, kill them, and take over the whole place. That is why you see that some communities up to this moment are still under siege by these terrorists.
So who are these individuals?
And it's so difficult.
Does the government have an idea who these individuals are or where they could be coming from? Some people have hinted that they are not Nigerians.
Most of them are not Nigerians. Of course, most of them are not Nigerians. But somebody brought them to that place. If you are not a Nigerian, it's not possible for you to locate a place as far as Plateau in the hinterland of this country to come and stay there. Somebody must have told you about it, they must have come across it somewhere. So people come there. How did they get to that place? That is why we first mentioned about the offensive of the military. We are happy that the military and other security agencies are being reinforced in that place. And we plead that please let there be a sustained offensive. Not that after when there is calmness, now when government announced that everything is calm, then the military will be withdrawn or they will be taken back, and then before you know it, these people will regroup again. So it has been a pattern. They know that government, when I say government now, I'm talking about the federal government. Because the state government, no state government has the capacity to do what the federal government can do. And I know that the federal government, they have overstretched, but there are areas that the federal government should give, due attention, should give more attention than others. And Plateau State should be one. Now that they are deploying them to that place, they shouldn't just stay on the fringes. They should get to the hinterland of those areas. The state government has listed, identified the areas where these people stay. If you go to areas like Riom and Barking Ladi, there are areas they call Mahanga and Jol and so many other places there. These people go there, they stay there, they come to the places to fence and go back. And then we border Kaduna State, we border Nasarawa State through a one-life game reserve, a very large one, about over 330 square meters. We had expected the federal government to have taken over that place fully now because that area belongs to the state government. But the last administration in the state, under the leadership of Governor Simon Lalong, ceded it to the federal government in good faith because it was agreed that the federal government was going to take that place, since it is a wildlife, a game reserve, they will develop it to a level that will be beneficial. It's a state government property. But because of the security confines, because of the insecurity that porous border is breeding.
All right, Dr. Simon.
We
Doc, we'll just pause you here, please. Yes, we'll pause you here. We'll take a very short break, and then we'll continue with the conversation. Stay on the line for us, please.
Nigeria Info. Right back.
on strategic communications to the government of Plateau State, Dr. Golu Timothy Simon. Sir, thank you for staying on the line for us.
Thank you very much, my brother. Welcome back.
All right. Before we go on, please let me remind those listening we're streaming online, so you can watch and listen to us live on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH on Facebook, on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH. You can also download the Nigeria Info app from your iOS store if you are an iPhone user. But if you are an Android user, then you can download from the Google Play Store, download Nigeria Info FM app, and then on the app, search for Nigeria Info PH, and you'd have access to all of our contents. Thank you very much. You can also use the WhatsApp number and express. Let us know what you think about how this situation in Plateau State and even in Benue State is being handled by the government. Are you satisfied so far, or is there more you think that should be done or can be done that has not been done yet? The WhatsApp number, of course, is 0809 030 6416. All right, Doc, let me come to you now quickly. So I know you're aware that in Rivers State, we are in a state of emergency. And this has caused people to say, what is happening in Plateau State in those local governments, really horrific as it is, isn't it enough reason for the government to at least consider declaring a state of emergency in those local governments in the state where we're having this problem and loss of life of this magnitude? What's your thought about that? You think that would help? Or are there other measures that are already in place that you think is tackling the problem effectively?
My brother, I don't want to join in the politicization of the issue of state of emergency. If it is the issue of insecurity nationwide, I think it's the entire country that should have, issues that have been under a state of emergency, the whole country, because there is no state, that is scared of these attacks. Some other states are even worse than what is happening, in others. But let us restrict ourselves to the various causes, the remote and immediate, causes of these attacks in various states. I believe that in our own case on the Plateau, the government would have resolved these things. I mean the federal government, if the solutions provided, all the solutions that have been identified from 1999 to date are implemented. There have been white paper reports, there have been commissions of inquiry, in the state, and some people who are in that state for participating or for inciting this type of violence from outside. Names were given. Then the federal government has not, because prosecution doesn't state at the state level. Police are involved, the judiciary is involved, the judiciary at the highest level belongs to the federal government. So these people should have been, should have been made public and punished. But because they were not punished, it has emboldened them to carry on. Remember, sometimes people are arrested, instead of them to be prosecuted within the area of jurisdiction, they are taken to Abuja and for you know it. That is the end of the story. And so, what do we do? If the government can take it upon itself to complete this kind of cycle of, very good justice administration, that a lot of we would have achieved a lot, by that alone. And then coming to talking about security deployments in the state. For a number of years now, there have been soldiers on ground. There have been other security agencies deployed, especially soldiers. The Air Force, the Navy, the Army in particular, all of them have been there for a number of years. It's just that they have not identified, because this job is, within the corridors of their knowledge through intelligence gathering. They are supposed to have I had expected, that the Army or the Nigerian military should have come up with new information concerning this crisis, not just on the Plateau, but across the nation. What is really happening? It is the same old story every time. Just last week, when the Chief of Minister was in Plateau State, he said he was quoted to have said there are political underlying factors that should be addressed, and he did not name them. What are those underlying political undertones that are there that needed attention? He should have gone ahead to say it. We are at a level where we should call a state in state.
But you mentioned white papers. You mentioned white papers talking about calling a spade, and you said solutions were preferred, names were even mentioned, and so on and so forth. Can you give us some of those details? What solutions? What kind of solutions were
Yes,
offered.
no time to begin to talk about that. But I have summarized it by telling that by giving you the information that there has been a report of commissions of inquiry on the just crisis, which took place many years ago. The federal government is yet to implement it. If the federal government implement that, is just an aspect of the solution to this problem. So we are waiting. We have had a number of leaderships at the federal government level after that. We believe that they will it should just be, because the reports are there. The reports cannot vanish, on the table of the presidency. And we're talking about the security, which I was mentioning, the Chief of Army Staff visit to Plateau. We had expected, more than that, so that they can help us. The military should be there they are there for a reason. And it's not that they've not been doing excellent jobs, but the jobs must be sustained so that, because there is a destination for these jobs, there is a destination in mind when you ask somebody to go and do something. And what is the destination to get the final result? What has been the final result of all these military deployments, in the state? Let me restrict myself to Plateau State. It's not when things happen like this. What is the intelligence gathering, maybe let me say capacity of the military? Because they are not just there to just separate people fighting. They are not just there to stop people coming in from other areas, but they should also be able to tell us what is really happening. Who are these people involved? My brother, is it possible that up to this moment we have not identified anybody? The military has not paraded anybody, and so that we can be able to use that as an example. How are these people coming into Nigeria? Most of these foreigners. How are they getting into our place? Plateau State doesn't border any country.
So what is then the border situation with other states? Because I know you're bordered by Nasarawa and several other states. What is
bordered by Taraba?
Taraba, beg your pardon, thank you. What is then happening with the borders? Because is there some working relationship between your state and neighboring state, the governments of neighboring states, to try and checkmate these individuals that are coming through your borders and causing this mayhem?
And you see, my brother, we border Taraba on the 115th axis. We cover and then Shandam area. We cover Nasarawa from Kopan towards Boko side, and then we cover Kaduna towards Basa, and then just north and just east here. All those states, these three states I mentioned, border Plateau. And
Bauchi State as well?
Possible. Yes, we border Bauchi State. We border Bauchi State and even parts of Gombe. I'm just talking to you about the areas that the areas that we have most of these insecurity situations. Because the land, the border, the large expanse of land between Plateau, especially between Wasi and Taraba, is such that there is no state that can cover it except the federal government. Through area surveillance and other, strategies put in place. Our own Nasarawa system too, because that large expanse of area that I just mentioned to you, borders of it is closer to Nasarawa, 30 minutes from the city center of Lafia, and then from Jos here, the Plateau State capital is about 3 hours. So you can see that it's closer. There are communities there, Plateau communities that move to Nasarawa to do their businesses, than coming to a job here, because that place is closer to them. And then Kaduna and this here. If we can sustain that, that is why we commend the setting up of these, regional development commissions, so that the various states can be able to put their own, security measures together, just like the people in the Southwest are doing, using the Amotekun, structure. Because every state in the Southwest contributes to the Amotekun structure as far as security is concerned, so that they are together. Whatever happens in the other state should be a concern of the other state, because it can, come into that place. Here in the North Central Zone, or let me say in the North, this is what the federal government should make it to happen. Because security is on the exclusive legislative list. So you will not just ask the state governments to just do it and then watch them, because the state governments don't actually have the capacity to do that. Or the state governments may be limited by their differences, because they may disagree, to do it. But because the security situation is more of a federal anything. The fear that they may use it for other things is another matter. But for them to be comfortable enough to have the control of the police, the state government cannot call the commissioner of police now, director of SSS, or even the GOC and tell him what to do. There is a limit to which a state government or to what the state government can do using them because they are not his forces. They can only collaborate or cooperate to achieve something. But when the chips are down, they can control them. They have their own discretionary, way of doing things. So the federal government should sustain this offensive there. The areas mentioned where these, terrorists have taken over, especially the over 64 communities that are under their control. The military might, the Nigerian military might is capable of dislodging these people there. So by the time our people cannot go back, when our people cannot go back to these areas, you can see when they cannot go back to that area and there are people there, and they have not gone there to tell us that there are no people there. The people, our own people cannot go to their ancestral areas to go and farm. They have become IDPs in the city center, in the homes of their relatives, in schools and, premises of religious, places of worship. So for how long can our people continue to stay there?
Really sad. Really sad. The picture you're painting is quite saddening, I must say, especially when you just mentioned now over 60 communities taken over by these individuals and all the people there displaced.
Of these people, yes, and who else can help us to go and dislodge these people? It's not the federal government. They have the aerial capacity. They have the ground capacity.
So have they not utilized aerial capacity? Because we know, for instance, over here in Rivers State, we from time to time hear of aerial bombardment as it concerns illegal oil refining. We see them carry out that operation from time to time and locate sites where illegal oil refining is ongoing and, do aerial bombardment. Haven't they applied same in those communities, especially those ones that have been taken over by these individuals and residents and indigents all displaced?
We have not, and then we have not had anything from them. We expect that periodically the security agencies can boost the confidence of the people by giving us the information that we don't know, because there in the state there are things our people will not know because we don't get to all these areas, because our people have moved away from that place. So who is supposed to go there and help us? It is the security. I know that the security may have been overstretched because this is part of that, but the solution still lies in the hands of the federal government. Whatever the federal government needs to do must be done. If it is not done and then our people continue to face this type of attack, where are we heading to? That is why, some of us also believe that the communities should be given the opportunity to even arm themselves so that they can defend themselves. They can augment what the security agencies are doing. If the federal government can do that, if we can amend our laws to even provide such. I listened to the Director General of the SSS, last month, there is a video trending, which he gave some beautiful, roadmap measures that can be used by communities. He gave the example of the Tefa Balewa and then the Azare and Bogoro communities in Bauchi State, where they put up this kind of resistance to themselves. He said communities should come to them. They should give, there are some minimal or minimum approval that the security, leadership can grant to communities to go back and take and save these people, because the first line of defense actually comes from the communities. The military people will only come to operate because they don't stay there. They have to be invited. Before their invitation, a lot of lives have been lost, and we cannot wait again to lose some lives before calling for another reinforcement. So
okay.
It is time the federal government. Yes.
You said quite a lot. We'd have to go to the phone lines and take a response from some of the listeners, take the questions and contributions. But one more question I would like to throw to you. You suggested that the military chief, when he visited, had said something around the lines of political undertone. Do you think that could be why it is taking long for the federal government to implement some of the suggestions that have been made, or to squarely face this situation? And do you perhaps have any idea what this political undertone could be, if you think it is the military chief is correct?
Let me tell you, my brother, there have been wrong narratives, very wrong narratives that have been sold just to demarcate Plateau. Talking about this, initially they said there were ethnic problems. And then we don't have any ethnic, we don't have any community fighting any community on the Plateau. Or else they would have mentioned them when they visited, including the IG of police, the chief of army staff, the national security advisor, all of them were there. Was there any report of any community fighting the other one? No. Was there any report of Christians or Muslims engaged in any infighting in the state? No, it is not. So the narrative must be clear first. The narratives must be clear. So what are the political undertones that must have been communicated, erroneously communicated to the chief of army staff to have mentioned that? If you mention it, then you clarify it, so that we are ready to address any outstanding issue as far as Plateau State is concerned. Is it that we don't want to sleep with our two eyes closed? Is it that we don't want our people to be secure? Is it that we like to see bloodshed on our land? No. So whoever that will bring any solution, let me tell you, we will not play with it. Look at it. There is no government that has been spared. We have had PDP governments. We have had APC government. Whenever the PDP is in power, so I know that it is the APC. Whenever the APC is in power, they will assume that it is the APC that is doing it. They keep doing that to create internal confusion among ourselves. It is not true. It is not true.
Okay.
Because I belong to the PDP. The last 8 years have been ruled by the APC in the state. So if anybody tells you that it is the APC now that is already planning to do this, to go and carry, inciting people to go and carry arms against the government of the state, I will tell you it's a lie. Because when I was in the opposition, there was these insinuations and allegations which were not true. So I have to say the truth. If they are not true with us, they cannot be true with them. I know that opposition will always have its own, intentions that the government in power should not succeed as to give them, advantage in the next election. But not to this level, my brother.
All right.
Everybody is affected.
All right, Doc.
You don't go to any community in Plateau State where it is dominated by PDP or APC.
Doc, because of the time, let's just take some messages. Unfortunately, we might not have to take phone calls because time will not allow us. This one says... we'll just go look at some messages on WhatsApp and Facebook. This one says, good morning. About the Plateau State, I was born in Rukuba Barak, Plateau State. The first incident in 1999 was terrible. I believe the government and the center are protecting these people. They are doing this to my Plateau State in the middle of different states. So how these people get access to Plateau State is confusing. They commit these evil crimes and they go free. Somebody was born in 1999. Until this date, we still have these old issues, practice going on. So what are we saying? The government are just silent about it. If things like this continue to happen or happen in the south, the government would be quick to declare a state of emergency. It's very bad that the government needs to rise up to their responsibility. Ibiso sent in that message on WhatsApp. Another person here on WhatsApp says, hello, Andrew. Greetings to you and to your guest. I remember when the governor was asked those behind the killings, he said, mostly not Nigerians. It would be better to always bring both sides on board for better perspective. I remember growing in Plateau State in the 2008 crisis. How can soldiers have been killing innocent souls from other sides? Let the root cause of this problem be addressed. Safia from Port Harcourt sent that one in. Melody says, leaders of North Central like Gowon, T.I. Danjuma, IBB, Victor Malu, and the others should organize for spiritual atonement for innocent bloods that have been shed under their watch between 1966 and 1970s, because ethnic cleansing didn't start today. It happened in the eastern Nigeria. He went further to say, today, most of them are witnessing the same pain. Don't ever support evil, because what goes around comes around. That's the lesson he's sharing. And then I'll take one more. Amy says, I think the situation in Plateau State is pathetic and painful. I'm very conversant with many areas in Plateau State. It is like my second home. The issue in Plateau State are rooted with deep political undertone, land grabbing, and long-age bitterness. However, Amotekun was bettered by virtue of Section 11, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which empowers states to make laws for the security and orderliness. And then if I can squeeze in one more before we wrap up, it says, good morning. These are the state Mr. President is supposed to go and declare a state of emergency, not in Rivers State. They do politics with everything in this country. Henry from Iwofe, you sent in that message. And then the messages are just a lot. I keep saying one more and then I take another one. This one says, all these horrific killings going on, and the president, commander-in-chief, is not doing enough. He's still continuing his trip abroad. Why would other countries value Nigerians when we act like this? Obi sent in this one. Quickly, Doc, in under 2 minutes, let's get your final words on the program. What's the way forward now? What steps you think would tackle this?
I appreciate the concerns of those who just made their own comments. The first one, excites me more because it talks about being, a resident of Basa for some time. Basa, local government, if you know it very well, is very close to the Rukuba Barracks, the third armored division of the Nigerian army. So what, physically speaking, if you build a house near a police station, what do you expect, my brother? If you build a house near a barrack, what do you expect? You expect an enhanced and an advantageous security because you are near that place. But what are we having today? The Basa area is supposed to be, because ordinarily everybody will believe that the military, even uninvited, will not see attacks and then, take away from it. We're not saying that they are complicit. We're not saying that they are negligent. But what we are saying is that we don't understand why it is happening within the corridors of a security agency like that. So it means that anybody who is trying to build his house near a police station, you are just wasting your time because you won't enjoy the benefits of that proximity. Let me quickly say this. The issues raised by my commenters, land grabbing, terrorism, banditry, insurgency, these are not issues under political undertones. So if anybody is trying to say there are political undertones on the Plateau, what are the political undertones? These are the issues that we have identified. Land grabbing, people using terrorism to come and grab our land, banditry and insurgency. All manner, you can give different divinations to the situation of insecurity on the Plateau. So many dimensions that are not taking place in other states are taking, a place in Plateau State. And some people will sit down outside and say it has to do with ethnicity, it has to do with religion, and the rest of them communities fighting them. And we want to look at the statement that was issued last week by the presidency. We appreciate the concern of the president. He has helped the state government. He has helped the state governor. He has encouraged us. But that statement, we believe that some people who actually don't want this problem to be resolved, or some people who just are taking advantage of it, are selling this type of narrative. Who is fighting who on the Plateau? No. We've had religious issues, we've had
all right, Doc.
matters and the rest of them. But they're not to this level. So
all right, Doc.
I pray and we appeal to the federal government to please suspend this offensive, increase its own vigilance, the intelligence gathering of that place, and please provide more of aerial surveillance and attack.
All right,
so
Doc, that's the much we can take. We have to say thank you now at this point. We have to go now. Thank you very much. We'll keep in touch and continue to follow the development in Plateau State.
Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate it.
Have a great day. That was Dr. Golu Timothy, former member House of Reps and currently Special Advisor on Strategic Communications to the government of Plateau State. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. We're wrapping things up. But don't forget, very importantly, one play on Nigeria Info. We're giving out cash Easter edition. So you should really take advantage of it. It's very simple with just 500 naira. Just dial *347 *880 *6#. And you can play as many times as possible. Go for a commercial.